Peace, everyone. This is your girl Sequoia Blue back in here with another episode. And now we are doing something different, y'all. I am starting to go live now. So we're on Twitch and YouTube. What's up, all the Twitch people out here in the YouTube fam? We have a special guest in here today. We got Miss QueenB.Divine, and she is in the building. She is also a podcaster. She has the podcast, The Cure is Conversation, which you can check out on Spotify, anywhere. It's about self-care, motivation, getting you together. What's up, Queen B?
You know what? I always say, I'm breathing, so I can't complain, and the
That's
rest is
right.
gravy, right? So once I keep that
Mhm.
attitude, everything else is gravy. I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah, because you got to keep a positive disposition. There's a lot going on right now. That's so.
Ooh, yes, there's a lot going on, and
Yeah.
there are times where I used to say, "Man, I wish I was a kid again." I don't take that back and swallow that. No, I do not. Not right now. It, I'm
Yeah.
looking at the
No.
landscape of the world, and what we need, from my perspective, is just a lot more self care. Just self care.
Yes, yes, that's a good one. And let's get into that, because self-care, like, what is self-care to you? Because everybody got different opinions of self-care. Somebody might say, "Oh, self-care is me going to get my nails done, my toes done." But also, what if self-care is our mind, our thoughts as
Right.
well?
When I thought of self care, at one point I thought it was get my nails done, get my hair, get my edges tightened, all this stuff. But that's self maintenance.
Yep.
That's self maintenance. So self care means going inside and really feeling, how do I feel about today? We ask everybody else, how you doing? How you doing? I'm fine. But the first thing I like to do is, when before I even step out of bed and do it, stumble into my kitchen, I lay there
Mhm.
for a minute and just feel the energy of the day and just say, I am going to have a good day. And that's self care, because where the mind goes, the body follows. So I let my mind lead the way and then let my body kind of flow into that. So I
Mm.
always ask myself, how am I feeling? And I literally do a body check. I just go through it takes about a minute. Just close your eyes and feel your body. Did I wake up with a soreness? Is my head
Mm.
hurting? Whatever it is, and then go from there. And self care means
Mm.
taking care of you, because we are so programmed to make sure everybody else is okay. And if we start
Mhm.
taking care of ourselves, people like to throw out words that, oh, you're being a little selfish, you're being a bitch,
Oh yeah,
when really it's necessary. So that's my
it really
definition
is.
of care.
Yeah, that was perfect. It is necessary, because some people feel like, well, I got my kids, I got to do this and that. But if you don't take care of yourself, you can't water them. So, man, that was spot on. And
Mm-mm.
is this one of the reasons? What made you want to start a podcast? Is that what was that one of the reasons? Is to kind of spread the information on self care and self love?
Well, there were so many reasons. I'll tell you a couple of reasons. One reason is, it's because, when internet, I didn't grow up around the internet. The internet is a new generational thing. By the first time I heard about internet, someone said, "Do you want to surf?" I'm like, "Surf? What you mean?" I sat in front of the computer. I was like in my 20s and went, "What? What am I supposed to do?" So one of the reasons I wanted to start a podcast, because it keeps me current, and I get to
Mm.
talk to people in current time about things that are happening to me now. So I choose to use people as my news source instead of
Mm.
going to social media, because if I want to know what's happening in Texas or on the other side of Canada, I have met so many people. I'm like, hey, is it really true what I'm seeing on the news?
Mhm.
Is it really this bad? And this way I can manage my mental health that way. Another reason why I chose to do a podcast is what you said exactly, is that I really believe that the cure is conversation. And if I can just start a conversation with someone like we did back in the day, say, hey, how you doing? Sit down and talk to me. And take away that judgment and try to, who are you? What? I just ask questions.
Mhm.
So I turned that into a podcast, and I thought, why not? People love talking. I love talking.
Mhm.
Why not be a
Mhm.
gracious host and hold a very safe space for them to share their story?
I love it. I love it, because they said there's only 3 million podcasters in the world. So it's not, it may seem like it's a lot, but it's not a lot. So it's
No.
like, yeah, anybody want to start a podcast, do it. It's not oversaturated. Just do it. Be
Yeah,
you, do
do it
you.
now.
Do it the way you want to do it, whatever way make you feel comfortable.
Yes, I
I love it.
agree. I agree, because when you say 3 million, that's news to me. But I've always wanted to be on the ground level of something growing so massive, and podcasting is one of those ground level things that people are just trying to figure out their voices, where to share their story. And the first thing people think of is podcast. And podcasting, although it might seem easy, it's a very focus driven love. And if you don't love it, you're going to be doing one show and going, okay, I'm done.
Pretty much.
It's a labor of love. So
It
if
is.
you're going into podcasting, be sure. Someone gave me a really good advice on one of my podcasts. If you can do it for free and still love it, then you're doing the right thing. Right?
Yep. That's how I feel. Cause it's like I make a little bit of money from this, but I'm doing it because I love it. It's like, it's just so interesting because a lot of times you meet people in a small talk surface and
Right.
where do you work and all this, but we don't get into different like details about the person's journey.
Right.
And
Right.
I was like, having a podcast, I've been able to just learn about so many people from all over the world and all
Right.
these stories. I said, this is fun. This is invigorating. I was like, I can do this,
I can do this.
yeah. And I think it's kind of cathartic. Like it relaxes me, during
Yes.
during these times. So yeah, so that's definitely
That's one of the things I love about podcasting. If you haven't figured it out yet, I love to talk. So
love
meeting
it.
so when I talk to someone, you're right. Sharing your story is very lethargic. It's very good for you, because I believe that a lot of us keep our shit inside, or stuff inside. Excuse me.
Yes. No, you're fine.
Our stuff
It's okay. They'll understand it. Look, hey, we're adults on here, y'all. It's all good.
So it's nice to be able to be a part of the process where you can help someone share their story, because a lot of us keep the stuff inside, and we don't
Man.
know how devastating that is. So like little tip for anybody who's thinking, no, I'm good, I might have a childhood that was bad. No. If you had a toxic childhood, or something that really sticks in your mental space, and you're replaying it over, that is a sign that you need to get it out. You need to get it on
Facts.
paper. You need to record it. Get on a podcast and just wail if you need to. Just do something, because
Yes.
it's unhealthy to just keep it inside. It's like stagnant water, and we know what happens to stagnant water.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
believe that. That's why I started just saying what I want to say, tweeting what I want to say. Like I used to have to double think, oh, I shouldn't say that or I shouldn't do that. But I'm not hurting anybody. I'm just stating my opinion. That when I got to that level a few months ago, where I said, you know what, I'll take the smoke. You want to give me the smoke? I'll take it. Because I'm gonna say what I want to say. Because hopefully I help somebody, and hopefully I said what they wanted to say.
Yes.
So don't. So that's so good. So don't be afraid, people. Just go out here and don't be scared what people think. Why? Because life is short. We're not promised tomorrow. Like David Arnold, the comedian, just passed. Rest in peace, David Arnold. I was a big fan of him. Sorry, I went off topic, but I was a
No,
big fan
no.
of him.
Right.
And he passed away, and he had a heart attack. They say, or they said natural causes, but then they came back that he had a heart attack. And
Right.
as COVID-19 is causing this. It's called long-term COVID. It's causing certain people to have heart issues. So you know, COVID is not quite over because long COVID,
Yeah.
and they don't know exactly, we don't know exactly where long COVID going. We
we
don't
we
know
we
we ain't
we don't
even,
know.
it's down the black rabbit hole. So it's like, like we don't know. Like, hopefully we be here. Hopefully we're not zombies, or hopefully we're not whatever. But
Right.
just and that's where self-awareness come in. Be
Yes.
self-aware of your body. Like, what is going on that wasn't happening before COVID?
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
And that's one of the things that's kept me healthy. And because I had my own health crisis for a long time, and I wrote a book about it.
Mm.
But that's neither here. We'll talk about that later. If
Yeah,
there's
I
time.
was gonna bring that up too.
Yeah,
The book.
I had this health crisis that made me become my own doctor. Now, before I say this, if you need medical advice, do not say that QueenB.Divine told you not to go to the doctor. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying that it is my journey, and I chose it very awarely that I wanted to take the responsibility on myself, because went to a doctor's, they would tell me I don't want to see anything, and you get 5 minutes, and they're
Mhm.
telling you to do things, and I'm like, you don't even know my body, and you're telling me to take
Mhm.
things, and so I learned natural ways to heal myself through herbs and tea, exercising, talking, dancing. The
Mhm.
arts are very healing. And if
Mhm.
you know your artistry, whether it be a singer and dancer, use it to heal yourself. If you're a dancer,
Mhm.
dance your way to healing. If you're a
Yep.
singer, sing your way to healing. If you
Mhm.
rap or your poetry your way to healing, because God gave you that. And when I
Mhm.
say God, I don't mean this thing from the sky.
Yeah.
God is everything in you, and you connect,
Mm.
and when you raise your energy, your level, your vibe, so to speak, you will attract those who are tuning into your vibe. And for instance, you, Sequoia, when we met, we had the same the same vibe. Otherwise you'd be like, nah, girl, I'm gonna pass on you, because you can feel the vibe, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you can.
I
And
can
we
feel it because you get so many people writing you about being on the podcast on your
Yeah,
podcast and stuff, and you're like, but you can just feel the energy through even
you
just
can.
when you first initially write me, or when someone first
Yes,
initially writes you, you can feel the energy and say, oh, I want to talk to this person. I'm meant to talk to this person.
right. And
It's just that vibe, yeah, that pull.
yeah, it's just that vibe, and
Yeah.
and that's what I coincide with knowing God, meaning knowing
Hmm.
yourself. To know yourself is to know God. That's what it means,
Facts.
it's when people say I'm going to ask God for a car, what you're asking is you're asking the collective
Mm.
to resonate with you and help you find the path towards a car. So that's when you find
Hmm.
salespeople. And if you don't like them, that's not your path towards a car. You find
Mm.
somebody else. So when I talk about God and spirituality, it's not this thing that you give away your power. If you give your way of power outside yourself, you've already lost the battle. But once you have faith in
Mm.
yourself that I can create a car for myself and get it, I can create a podcast and vibrate
Mm.
those people to me that can help me with my life. That's when you're in tune, and that's the power of who you are. And like I said, we all have that power within us. And even in fairy tales, they tell us that we do. We all know the Wizard of Oz, right? She went around in a
Mhm.
big ass circle only to find that she
Yep.
had the power.
Yep, she had the power within her. And that's the
Yes.
thing, because once man, I'm happy you brought this up, because I tell people, I preach about this all the time,
Right.
sharing quotes about it all the time. And it's the facts, because people are waiting on someone to save them.
Right.
But it is within you. Yeah, there's issues with the government and all this
Right.
that may hold you down, especially people of color, but you
Right.
are still responsible for your life. You still can make a decision and say, okay, this is what's happening, but I'm going to do this,
Yes,
because
exactly. And I love how
and
you brought
yeah,
up that people of color. I found
yeah.
that as a black woman to black woman, there was a time where, and I'm going to be straight up about everybody who's listening. Straight up,
Well,
I'm
hey,
right.
this is my conversations are about breaking the rules. So,
So thank you. So straight up is that for a long time I let that scenario and that conversation, that dialogue, oh, white
mhm,
people holding me down, white people. How
mhm,
long are we gonna do that? We have to
mhm.
learn to step over that idea and get the mind right so we can combat those things that are battling us. Right? Because if
Yes,
your mind is not right, racism, sexism, ageism will always bother you,
it will
because
always bother you.
it'll always bother you because you'll never see the
Yep.
bigger picture. And the bigger picture is that we are all divine. And the only
Mhm.
thing that just makes it different between you and someone who's successful, black, white, is because they made a decision not to let that bullshit bother them
Yep.
and
Yep.
start.
Yep. And that takes me to Will Smith. Just decide who it is you want to be and how you're gonna get there.
Yeah,
Period.
yeah.
And I'm still always gonna be a big fan of Will, despite what
I love
happened.
him. I
Well,
love him.
people
Please.
make mistakes in this
Yeah.
world, and that's that. He apologized. Let's move on from it.
Right.
But that's what Will Smith was teaching, and when I read the book The Alchemist, it was teaching you about that, discovering your own self journey and going after your own I guess it was a universal law of attraction. It was just very, very intrinsic story. The
Right.
Alchemist is one of the best books I've ever read, y'all. Y'all got to check that out.
Yeah.
Um And speaking of books, you have a book. So
Yes, I do. I
tell us
have a
about the book.
Oh, thank you for asking. Okay, my book is, I read all, I wrote my whole life story out, and I'm waiting to publish that. But the book focuses on a small part of my life. At 19, I made a decision to have an abortion, and it wreaked
Mm,
havoc on my
mm,
body. Now, this is not a book
mm,
about yay, it's good, or nay, it's not. It's about the mental health journey that it cost me
mm,
in my mind, and the wisdom
mm,
that it led me to it, and how to respect life no matter how small, and learn to how to divine life not by man's standards but my own. And
mm,
when I got into the, any woman who's ever had an abortion, oh, life starts at 3 weeks, life starts at nine, and
mm,
you need to know what's good for your body and then do it, right?
mm.
Because
Yeah.
I really truly believe, and I can't speak for God, because God in its infinite wisdom, how dare I try to pose the mind of God, but
Hmm.
I really truly believe in my own heart that I believe I would rather have a child that I'm ready to have, that is in love, that I can teach from the wisdom that I have learned, instead of just bringing a child into the world and have it suffer because I didn't do the work I was supposed to do. So
Yeah.
this book is all about the journey that I took, and realizing how special I am, and that no decision, whether how dark it may seem by others, will ever stop the universe from loving you. No
Hmm.
decision you do will stop the universe from conspiring to make you happy. And that's what
Yes.
people are nervous about. So that's what my book, it's called Junction and Intermindvention. And
Mm.
basically, it was a trip that really, for 15 years, it really wreaked havoc. I mean, it was so crazy, um, that at the time of the abortion, someone left one of the little dilators inside of me.
Oh no.
And then 15 years later, it came out of my mouth.
Ooh.
So,
Wow, that is some deep stuff. I didn't even know it. Wow. Oh my God.
so it
Geez.
ripped through my body, and doctors didn't believe me. They thought I was crazy.
Yeah, a lot of times,
Yeah.
sometimes they don't
Yeah,
be listening.
that's it. They thought that, oh, I just wanted to have a baby so badly that I messed. And I said, no, I know what it is. And for the whole journey, like I said, it really taught me the wisdom of life. And I talk
Mhm.
about the visions that led me to that point. So that's what the book is all about. It really speaks to making your decision that works for you, not what
Mhm.
works for the law of man, but works for you. Because however we perceive how we transform and go into the other side, I'd like to think that somebody who, or some energy, will come to all of us and say, why didn't you do what you were meant to do? Follow your heart. And I
Mhm.
want everybody to say, I don't know why. Is that what you want to say? I don't know why.
I love it. And do you believe God is a man or woman, or is it just an energy?
Well, here, this is my opinion, of course, my perception. There's nothing that can be created without woman, right? Or
Mhm.
each other. You can't
Yeah.
just pull a child out of the air and go, woo, here's the baby. It doesn't work that way. So I'm gonna say God reflects us, and God is all things. So
Yeah.
if you want, so some people go, well, how do you talk to God in that sense? So if I'm
Mm.
thinking, and this is my simpler way of doing it, is that if I'm thinking of the feminine aspect of my life, I'm talking to the feminine side of God. If I want to talk
Mm.
about the masculine things in my life, like structure and how to be more stronger, my personality, to set up boundaries, I'll be more akin to talk to the masculine side of God. But we're always talking, at least from
Mm.
my perspective, we're all talking to the wholeness of God, and then we allow God to deliver whatever it is through whatever facets that we need. And
Yeah.
that's why I believe that if we've been calling God he for a long time, and you can see
Mhm.
that he-ness working out in the world. It's very masculine. It's very war
Mm-hmm.
mongering. There's not very much of the female energy, and I believe
Yeah.
now that's why you're going to see a lot of women um, come up and become leaders and all these things and waking up to the voice, because just like women have been suppressed, so has Mother
Mm-hmm.
Nature. So now we're waking up. So I think God is all combinations, and the best thing we can do, just like each other, is not label God and just let God be.
I like that. That was the bomb. I like that response because I mean just like you read my mind, because that's what I think the same thing. Like
Right,
I
right.
just feel like God is in everything. Like the earth and everything is God. Like
Everything.
everything in your home. It's like the way your vibration is set is the tone you set for whatever you're gonna attract. And when
Yeah.
I learned that at 26 years old, my whole life changed, because up until then I was in the church, in the Baptist church and stuff, not knocking my church people, but it wasn't for me. So I was like, I'm not connecting with God. I feel like I'm just in a organization. So then when I went into that journey of finding God, and in a personal journey, man, oh man, did I start getting things revealed to me. There were things
Woo.
revealed to me. I learned about so much stuff. I was like, man, if everybody can crack this code and stay on it, not, I know life is tough. You got the ebb and flows, but hey, a mofo that's tapped in, you're gonna jump
Yes.
right back up. Even when it's a tragedy, it's just gonna be a flow. And I
Yes.
think that somebody can stay in that, and there's gonna be times we get irritated with something, but you can still jump back into it and still keep a positive disposition, so you can attract what you want. You can have that give yourself the moment of saying, man, what the f,
Right.
but then get back into that
Right.
vibration. Still stay on the positive vibration.
Right.
So
That-
that's what I'm learning. I had to learn that. Like, what
yeah.
is that way to,
Yeah.
okay, this going on, but I'm still
Right.
gonna be on a high vibration, because when you off, when you ain't attracting nothing, you're not getting what you're asking for. You're like, I mean, things just start going this way,
You're like,
because you
what's
didn't
happening?
listen.
That's exactly how you notice when you're not feeling yourself, and that's why it's so important
Hmm.
for self care, so you can get to know yourself, so you know when you off. When, because
Hmm.
if and that's another thing. Uh, this is just a little side, but like childhood friends are great. But I've learned
Hmm.
in my journey that sometimes childhood friends could stop you from growing, because they're so used to you being a certain way. So when you're
Mm.
trying to go, I'm going to become this and this, they're like, no, man, from grade 3, you weren't like that. You're like, man, don't try to stop me from change. And I really believe that
Mm.
change is a part of who we are. So we should surround ourselves with people who are going to help us do that. Not tell us to change, but support the decisions that we decide to do in our lives. Not say, hey, 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 because
Mm.
we are smart enough to do what we need to do, and you have to surround yourself with people who will know that you're intelligent enough that if you need help, you will ask.
Ooh, I don't know what's going on tonight, but the universe is coming through. But that is so true. Clap for the ones. Clap for Queen B Divine, honey, because she is giving something tonight, honey. Because I'm gonna tell you what, when it comes to advice, if I did not ask you,
Right.
then don't give it, because what happened is sometimes it can throw off somebody, and it's not saying the person can be coming from malice, but at the
Well,
same time it's like, hey, I didn't ask you and you're gonna throw off my vision here. If I need help, I'm gonna come to you or go to the person I feel like I want to help me, because sometimes it's not your friends and they may mean well, you love them, but sometimes you got to go to someone you don't know, because that's
yes.
just what you're supposed to do. And then
Right.
you're right about the childhood friends. Like a lot of times, and family too, people get so used to you being one way, like,
Right.
and they be like, well, are you still doing the first thing? I've never stopped. I've just evolved. I realized I
Yes.
got other talents. How I'm supposed to know? I was a kid. I didn't know I had other talents. I didn't know I would.
Right.
You had told me I would be a podcaster right now. I would have laughed like, ha ha. But here I am on here podcasting, talking to all these different people from all over the world,
Right.
streaming live as an introvert. So it just wasn't something that I saw in the cards, you
Right.
know. So it's just letting people. So I agree with that. Letting people be, let people
Yes.
grow.
Be. Just let them be.
Yeah.
It's a very, we grew up into this controlling this controlling society that, especially in school, you got to line up the girls on the side and the boys on this side, and you got to be there at 9 o'clock, and then you got to make sure you're doing this. Everything was very structured from a childhood. If we were so blessed to go to school, everything was so structured. At 3:15, you're going out for recess. At lunchtime, you're eating, and then you're doing this. And as soon as we get out of that, we go right back into university or college if we're so blessed. And then as soon as we get out of that, we go into the work area, and it's this. So when we get a little bit of freedom, that's why I believe a lot of parents are afraid to let kids travel for the year, because they know full well it's going to happen. You're going to get out of the routine. And
the routine.
You're going to find yourself. And a lot of parents are like, no, go to school. School, here's the thing. School is great. Don't tell anybody at QueenB.Divine that school ain't good. School is great. But I was in college and I had to drop out because of that abortion that I had. And I have learned that life experience is phenomenal. So do not downgrade life experience. It is this, everything that you hear, my energy, all of that's life experience, and some hard knocks, I tell you. So, and one of the best life experiences I've had is traveling to Central America, from Mexico to Guatemala, backpacking. With my boyfriend, now husband. It was phenomenal. The things that I've learned, I'm sitting here bitching and whining that, I don't have this, I don't have that. And I see some kid with a plastic bag and a piece of stick running down the street, happy.
Making it work.
And I'm like, yes. Okay, I gotta figure shit out, because if he can make it work with a plastic bag and a stick and be happy, I can do something. And that whole trip really opened my eyes, not only to humbling me, but I realized that even race relations around the world are very real. Because my husband's white, and I can tell you that I remember going into a bar in San Pedro, Belize, San Pedro, and I asked this woman, she was from Texas, and I said, "Can I have a glass of water? Can I have a glass of water?" And she said, "We don't give water to your kind." And this wasn't in 1920 something. This was 2006.
What the heck?
And she said to me, "We don't give water to your kind." And I was like, and I was kind of confused, because I was like,
and this was, oh my goodness, was this in Texas?
Oh no, this was in Belize, and she.
Belize.
Oh my God! Because a lot of the tourists go down there and buy land, because it's a great place. It's a great place to get lost. Honestly, I love you, Belize, but I'm telling you, it's a great place to get lost. So we were down there, and after I asked for a glass of water, I was kind of confused, and I think my boyfriend, now husband, saw me, and he walked in and he goes, "Is there something wrong?" And then she goes to him, she goes, "Is she with you?" And he goes, "Yes." She goes, "Well, fine." And she took the glass of water and she threw it on the counter, and whatever little bit was left, I drank it like I was like,
I can't believe that, and that is crazy, because there's so many podcasters that talk about their experiences overseas. Right. And I mean, that's just crazy that you have to go through that in 2006, and you're just trying to live your life and explore the world.
Right.
I mean, you can't make this up, y'all.
And not to down the white people, but black people were just as bad, because I remember walking down the street and and you see a black family, because it's a very dynamic place there. You got the tourists, you have the tourists who come in and unfortunately convince the locals that the value of their land is not. So 10,000 to someone who doesn't know money is a lot of money, but the land is worth 80,000, 200,000. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of dynamics going down there. So even when I went down there as my husband, same thing, sometimes the only reason why we ate is because, the black people come out and go, "We can't have a sister walking on the street hungry. Come in here." Oh my goodness. So, man, you see, as much as we've come far, we still have a lot of work to go. And that comes back to self-care. Yes. We really have to set our boundaries and not let things like this slide by and go, "Oh, okay. It's just them." No, we need to get our act together, because I believe the only way we're going to get to wherever it is that this divine creator wants us to be is together. Because I can't imagine we ended up the door of God, however that may look like, and go, okay, we're here. And then you can see God go, okay, so where are your brothers and sisters? Where's everybody else? I don't know. No, that's not how it's gonna work.
No, everybody the same. We going right to the same place. If it's another
Yeah, we're all
dimension,
going to the
we're
same
all
place.
going to that dimension.
Yeah, we're all going to the same place, and we all have to go together. We can't. We're
Yeah.
not God. You, as much as we like to think we're leaving people behind, it ain't happening. We
Mm-mm.
all have to gauge that, go through that same, flow of learning that it's not the skin, it's what's inside, the energy that
Mm-hmm.
matters most. I've just chosen to come through this life the way I look because I know I'm going to learn more. You've chosen the same thing because of whatever reason you have in your own life. So we
Yep.
really have to learn not to judge each other and just love each other and just say, I got you, you do you, and I'll support
Mm-hmm.
you in any way possible.
And I like that you said that, because it's like that's where I stand. You do
Yeah.
you, and I support you, because I can't tell you what you can do. I can't see your
Right.
vision. You can tell me I'm gonna be an astronaut tomorrow. I can't tell you can't do it. I don't know.
Right.
Maybe God
Right.
got getting you ready to be an astronaut. So, I mean, that's my advice to the world, y'all. Just
Right.
please, just let people do it, be them, even if you don't understand. Just as long as
Yes.
they're not hurt nobody, beat nobody up,
Yes.
just let them do what they want to do. Just don't tell them stuff, because it's already hard in the world as it
Yes, it
is.
is.
Trying to be an entrepreneur or a work at a job, it is hard work. So if somebody got a dream, don't kill it. And if your kids have a dream, don't kill their dreams. It starts at the young age, y'all. Like,
Right.
if your child has a dream, just nurture it. Try to figure out a way, because this everything's a business before it's a talent anyway. So if somebody's a singer, then hey, get the business part right for her or him,
Right.
and then let the music come along the way, because
Yeah.
business is first in music, and that's what in entertainment in general. So
Right.
that's one thing I learned. And one more thing I want to ask you too. So
Right.
for the in the book, what's your favorite chapter in your book?
It would have to be the chapter 5. Why? It's because I have 5 chapters, and because it's more of a guide in helping you to just sort out what's going in your mind. And one of the things I learned, which I put in the book, it's a acronym of Jason, JASON, and what does that mean is just another simple oral nap. And that's a nice way to
Mm.
just tell yourself to shut up sometimes. You don't need to be talking all the time because it, it, it takes away from your learning. So as I realized on my own journey, I said, how do I say this nicer to people? And it's
Mm-hmm.
Jason, just another simple oral
Just
nap.
another
And
simple
that's in
oral.
chapter 5. And it just told it guides you through the space where you, especially if we're podcasters, sometimes we
Mm-hmm.
lack the listening skills, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're like, oh, I want to tell my life, and I
Get so hype.
but and that's another reason, going back to the earlier question, why I was a podcaster, because I realized my listening skills were yay.
Oh no.
And
No.
it helps. It's just me, but I
Yeah.
wanted to I wanted to level up my listening skills because that's where all
Mm-hmm.
of our wisdom comes from. So that's my
Yes.
favorite chapter in the book. And it really sums up meditation as well.
Mm.
Just
Okay.
stay quiet and just let it come through you. And that's another thing, is that once you get the dialogue, sometimes you'll hear things, and just being real, you'll hear, oh, I hate myself, or I love myself. Whatever you hear, don't fight it. Let it
Mm-hmm.
come through you and then pass through you. Because just like people, when you put up a fighting energy, it's going to fight back.
I
So
agree on that one.
just so if you hear something and you go, oh, I don't like myself, let it pass through and then fortify it with, that's a lie, I love myself.
Love that. I
No.
hope y'all listening tonight. She's dropping gems tonight. I mean, come on. You guys can't make this up, because this is so true. Like, you you have to do it that way. And you got to stay out of your emotions,
Yes.
and then, because if you stay in it, like you said, man, it's gonna eat you up. So the bad things will eat you up anyway.
Yeah,
Um,
it
I know
will.
I said one more thing, but look, I got 3 more questions real quick.
Please do. I'm loving it. I'm loving it.
So, has COVID-19 impacted you in any way, like as far as physically or just financially, or like how did it impact you and your family?
Okay, now you're gonna be some real stuff right here. You know what I'm saying?
It's okay. That's what
Um,
we about.
COVID made me smarter. COVID made me smarter. Why it made me smarter? Because during the COVID era, I realized all the bullshit that's out there. And how many times, I asked for this on my journey years ago. I want to see clearly. I can see clearly now. I want to see it. I want to see it clearly. And
Hmm.
COVID, and I was very blessed to travel during COVID when they said you got to put things up your nose I'm from Canada, so you'd have that arrive can stuff, and you'd have to check
Oh,
in. And I just remember thinking, okay, it taught me that first one thing it taught me was that we need air. Now I ain't dissing anybody for putting a mask on. Do what you gotta do you. But we are already ingesting some nasty air already with pollution. Now you put a mask on top of that. Just all I'm saying is be aware of when
hmm.
you need to use it. You don't need to be using it 24/7 because your brain needs oxygen. So be careful. Be careful. If you have to wear it. I ain't tell you to stop wearing it. But we
Yeah.
have to notice that when we put something over, that's what it's doing, right? So instead of getting
Hmm.
50%, instead of getting 100% oxygen, you're getting 50 really. Yeah. So it
Yeah.
taught me to be aware, and it also taught me the importance of going outside and getting that vitamin D in your skin.
Yes.
You know what I
Yes.
mean? Getting, and how that we take that for granted, because as soon as the lockdown came down, everybody's like, "Wow, I can't go outside. I can't do this." And oh Lord, it is.
Hmm.
It's. I believe that COVID was our
I think
blessing
so.
to separate. And I know everybody may not like it, to separate the minded people. To those who are thinking one way and those who are thinking the other. Now, either way, I'm not going to tell you which way is wrong or right because that's not my place.
Yeah.
But we I see you. I see you.
No, and there's so many things were left and right, so I didn't even bring that up. Don't open that can of worms.
So it really separated the just the mind thinking. So it also taught me that when we speak to people, we can't assume that everybody thinks like us or me. You have to learn to be compassionate with those who really believe that they could be sick from it. And then you can be. I've met a couple of people who are very sick from COVID. I got it. I'm good. I'm
Mhm.
healthy. But it also made me aware of what we put inside our body, and we should be
Mhm.
double checking what we put inside of our body. I
Yeah.
myself is not going to talk to that, but what I am going to talk about is I am an organic being,
Mhm.
and I like organic things in my body. And when I'm sick, I know where to go because I've been on that healing journey. And like I said, I'm a herbalist. I do, for me, I do, I know the power of a dandelion. I know what that does. I know that it
Mm.
cleans your liver. I know the
I
power
didn't
of
know that.
garlic. Yeah, there you go. I
Oh,
know
I
the
love garlic. I love putting that on
garlic
my
is a
chicken.
yeah, it's a great antioxidant.
Yeah.
There are so many different things. Sorry about that. There are
Oh,
so
there you
many
go.
different. I apologize. There are so many different things that COVID taught me is to have faith in my intuition and to
Mhm.
remember that life is meant to be lived and not to be feared.
You know what? That's true. I definitely feel that way. COVID-19 did open up my eyes a lot. I was living in, LA for 6 years myself, and I was just, not liking what I was doing. Like I was just staying at jobs to stay at it. And then when the whole COVID thing happened, I was forced to work from home. And then my stepdad passed away in 2020, right at the tip of COVID, right at the top before it
Mhm.
started. It was crazy. So I was like, oh man, but it made me stop. Like once I got, so then I said, okay, am I gonna stay in LA by myself, or do I really want this? And I like LA, I loved LA, but I
Right.
wanted to invest in my businesses, and I didn't have time in LA to do that. I mean, you talking rent, like
Right.
out of
Can
this
imagine.
world, because I got to stay in a safe area. I'm a female, I can't, so it was just one of those things where I was like, yo, do I go back home support my mom because she was going through it? Because my stepdad, they've been married for 17 years and he passed away. Had a heart attack, which I think was from COVID. So then
Yep.
I really do, because he was a nurse practitioner, so he was seeing people at their houses and stuff, and I really
Right.
think he passed away from COVID. He caught it from one of those patients. So,
Right.
but anyway, but COVID-19, I think, opened my eyes, because then I eventually, when I moved to Nevada, it was like I had a chance to like start over and think things through and be like, okay, what do I really want, and what do I really want for me, not for what people think I should be. So
Right.
I started going deep, and I tell you, man, my life changed. Like I was able to think, I was able to talk to people that normally wasn't available because they had time on their hands. So I was able to talk to, just network, not people I knew, people I didn't know. I was
Right.
able to network and join little groups, and because I didn't have the big rent over my head, so I
Right.
could just be like, all right, yo, I can just chill for a minute. And then when I got back into tech, I was able to get a good deal for me, good job that was for me. So I was
Right.
like, things worked out the way it was supposed to. And that's because I followed my intuition when it said move, get out, Cali,
Yeah.
go to Nevada,
Yeah.
get no state taxes in Nevada. You're gonna have more bread, so you can invest into your
Wow.
career. You still next to Cali, you still can drive to Cali, So I said,
Right.
okay. So that's what I did, and I said, I'm grateful I made that choice. So I think, and what I've noticed during COVID-19, a lot of people made choices. They realized that they don't want to do things they don't want to do no more. They don't work the jobs they don't want to work at no more. They don't. They was like,
Yes.
nah, nah, nah. I could die tomorrow. Like, why would I want to be
Yeah,
depressed? So I
exactly.
was like, I was like, heck no. When I realized after my stepdad died, my grandma died, all these people died, I was like, I'm gonna live my life. I said, if the job ain't for me, I'm out. I don't care how much it's paying. I don't care how good it looks. I don't care. I said, I'm gonna be happy for me, because I don't know when it's over with. And then you can't be an artist if you're stressed. Like if you're a podcaster, a singer, anything like that, it's kind of hard sometimes if you're overly whelmed from a job.
Yes.
So I think that anybody that's at a bad job or something like that, don't stay there.
Don't
Just
do,
find
no,
something
don't
else,
do. It's
and
not worth it.
believe you can find something else. Because a lot of people don't believe they can find something else. But whatever you think is what's gonna happen. So if
That's
you
it.
think you can't, you won't find nothing.
You're
If you
gonna
think
find that thing.
yeah. So that's my thing on COVID. I think it changed my life, and I learned a lot, and I learned to pay more attention to my body too. Because I believe in science and I believe in herbs. I believe in both.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm one of
mean
those people,
exactly.
like I believe in
Yeah.
both. I'm gonna take my turmeric. I'm gonna take the
Yeah.
whatever the other I forgot what the other one was called. I'm gonna take all that. And then I'm also gonna get yoga doctor and say, hey, what's up? Am I
Right.
okay?
Right.
I'm gonna do both, because there's some stuff I can't see and that they can see.
Amen.
But taking care of yourself is first before the doctor. You got to
Yes.
take care of yourself first. Drink
Yeah.
water. People drink plenty of water.
Drink so
You
much
know,
water. Drink water. Do what you got to do. Drink
yeah.
your water. Water is so important. I remember back in the day in college when I used to go partying, and I would be drinking pop in the morning. Lord Jesus, what am I thinking? But it's a growth. It's just growth. I lived
Yeah.
my life. I enjoyed it, and now I realize that water is the thing. It is.
It's the king, man. Drink some
Yeah.
water, you know.
God.
So what herbs would you recommend for people that are trying to be natural right now and they're trying to keep their immune system up? Like what would you recommend for them?
Ooh, that's a good
Any
question.
smoothies, maybe smoothies, something like that.
Well, anything that it's. I like how you said smoothies because most times, you put some or vegetables in a blender. You just
Hmm.
go with the flow and like carrot juice. I love carrot juice, and a lot of people are like how you do that. They're really simple. Get some carrots, and this is the thing about self care. You need to take the time. When people say I don't got time to eat, you're telling your body that you don't care, right? So don't tell your body you
Hmm.
don't care. So what I do sometimes when I need a boost, I get a carrot and an apple, and if you have a blender, mix it in a blender and then pour it through a sieve and just get that, or put it through a juice or whatever. I'm ghetto, I'm old school. You can do that, or grind it on a grater and then squeeze the juice out and put it in, and you can do that. That's good for you. Also, what is good, a lot of people don't know, is beet juice, like beetroot.
Mm.
Is really good for cleaning your blood. So if you got things that are floating around your blood, you can drink that. Always have an apple with it, so too, because beet juice is very strong, and it has that effect of that drunkenness effect if you drink it
Mm.
straight. But taper it down with an apple, and then add some apple juice to it a little bit and drink that daily. That will definitely help you. Dandelion root, you can get this at
Mm.
your local drugstore, and it helps to clean your liver because your body goes through so much. It needs cleaning.
Hmm.
But if you are taking it one step further, which I do now, this is not a doctor recommendation, this is just what I do, of course, all of it is that sometimes I will get up in the morning, And from the morning till noon, I'll just have no sugar in anything, right? Just to get your body, because it's good to give your body a natural wake up. We always go to coffee, but
Yeah, me.
coffee, coffee fuels your anger. It really does. Do check?
What?
Yeah, it really does feel. This is why we have an angry society. It really does, because caffeine ramps you up, and you're and then you're in the car, so you're drinking this, and then in your car, you're like,
Think it, think it. You know what? You know what? That's true though, because when I used to be stuck in that LA traffic, it would be
yeah,
like, just tight, like, ooh, because
yeah,
I'll have a cup of coffee and then I'll be kind of rigid in the office, and you're more anxious than usual. So that's true.
right.
That's true, but I think it's hard because you get addicted.
Well, you do, and take and all of
Yeah.
these things. All if you realize somewhere in this podcast, you're like, oh my god, I need to do this. Give yourself some compassion. Things take time.
And it does. It
It takes
does.
time. So when I
Yeah.
changed the way I was eating, because at one point and there's nothing wrong with being large or weighty, but it wasn't for
Hmm.
me.
Yeah.
I was 200 and something pounds, and I was like, why? And
Wow.
I had a lot of issues going on with the book that I told you about, just so many things going on. But as soon as I took some sugar out of my diet, did walking, and did and did what I suggested about just not having sugar till noon and having like a sugar break, maybe even a day doing no sugar. It
Mm.
really got me down to a nice little size that I feel comfortable in for myself. So if you
Wow.
don't feel good about your body and you're looking in the mirror and you're like, I don't like you, that's terrible mental health. Get to a
Hmm.
place that is healthy for you. Not too thin, not too fat. But if you love being like, big busted, big, that's up to you, man.
Some people do.
Enjoy. Yeah, enjoy it. But, remember that your body was meant to take a certain weight,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Just remember
Facts.
your joints take
Man,
an
your joints.
yeah,
That's
your
it. Your
joints.
joints. Your
Right. So
joints.
so be good to your body, be compassionate. And what I do, one more thing I'd like to say is that if I found that my diet back in the day when I used to eat like anything, I just never cooked. Cooking is learn to cook, learn to cook. Um,
Yeah.
but I would sit there and I would eat a bunch of junk. But instead of going, I'm gonna throw away everything and then I'm gonna change my body today, just try one thing. So if you eat
Hmm.
chips every day, try a half a bag instead of a full bag. You've made a
Yeah.
change. If you drink 3 cans of pop every day, try 2 cans of pop. Success. And just do it until you're good. Don't do it shocked, because self
Mm.
care is making sure you set yourself up for success, not failure. And if you decide to just drop all the junk food, you're going to fail because your
Yeah.
body needs what it needs. And then you're going to be depressed
Hmm.
that you failed. So do it
Yep.
one day at a time, do it gradually. And then if you fail according to your perception, just look in the mirror and said, I love you anyway.
Yes.
That's it.
Yes. I love it. Oh man, this was such a great show, y'all. I'm definitely gonna have Queen B coming back because
Thank you.
I definitely have some more questions for Queen B that she can chime in on and grace
Yeah.
us. So she will be coming back. So before you go, what is a saying or quote that you go by? That's
What I go by, what normally, usually people recognize me because of my laughter. I can't hide because my laughter is so loud. But a saying that I do say is, if you're looking for love outside yourself, you've gone too far. Start from within and then let it resonate out into the world.
all right. I love that. Yes, that's how it is. Hey, if you're a 10 inside, you're going to get a 10. You're going to
Right,
attract the right guy. There's a great
right,
guy out there. There's a great woman out there for you. Don't
right.
believe what social media is saying. Be open minded and love yourself first, and you'll find him or her. I love it.
Yeah.
So I want to thank everybody for coming. Oh, before I get off, Queen B, where can people buy your book? What events do you have coming up? If you have any events or any
Right.
book signings, where can people check you out?
Well, you can check me out at bluntreflections.com. And that's where you can purchase the book. You just check out the tabs. They got book tabs. That's also where you can find my podcast. Also, if you want to contact me, you can contact me on that website. And I'm available for talks if you want that motivation advice, if you want a cheerleader on your side, if you want some wisdom about my own journey that might help you. I'm always available to talk. You just go onto my site, bluntreflections.com, and check out the contact tab. Also, you can find me on Instagram, where I post daily motivational stuff, and also on YouTube and all these social media platforms. I'm known as Queen B Divine. So just look for Queen B Divine. I managed to grab that name before anybody else did it. So just look
All
for my
right.
beautiful face, and I will help you. And like I said, we're all, I believe that we're all here to help each other. So blase, tell your story.
Hey, that's what's up. Y'all check her out for real. Subscribe to her podcast. She's definitely a gem. She's gonna grow. And check out her book for real. I'm gonna get her book. Sounds like a really inspiring book, and I definitely like reading about people's stories. So I want to thank everybody for coming on here and watching this segment with us. I'm excited. It's my first live. We're on Twitch and we're on YouTube. So thanks, and anybody that tuned in. If you like our messages, please share, subscribe, leave comments, and leave review for us. And until next time, stay safe and be blessed. Peace.